There is something about decluttering in this era of life that is incredibly, incredibly freeing. It's Betsy from A Flourishing Place, where we talk about all things cleaning, organizing, and homekeeping. We are currently in the middle of an exciting series called Simplifying Our Home, where I am going room by room through our home, decluttering and simplifying each space so we can live joyfully and freely without being weighed down by stuff. If that sounds interesting to you, I'd be honored if you would subscribe and join me on this journey, maybe even as you're decluttering and simplifying your own space. Today we're in the kitchen, and I decided to start here because I felt like it would be the easiest place to start emotionally, because who gets attached to stuff in the kitchen, right? Not me.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so this is a longer format video, so you can certainly sit and watch, but if you'd rather, just put me on in the background while you're decluttering your own space and we can tackle this together. But stay with me until the end, because I will share a couple quick things I learned while simplifying our kitchen. Okay, so this is a lower cupboard down underneath our microwave. There is definitely things to be gone over and to look at. This is a beautiful little holiday loaf pan. I'm gonna go ahead and part with this. Loaf pans, I use these regularly, so I have 2 of each, 4 loaf pans total. I feel like that's plenty. This is something that is a little more difficult. I'm gonna sit down here where you can see me. These are donut, pans to make baked donuts. I think there's something in me that that kind of identifies this with being a fun mom. Oh yeah, I'm the mom that bakes donuts. But the truth is that I don't bake donuts very often, and the truth is that I make lots of other things that my kids enjoy, and so I don't have to hang on to these in order to be a fun mom.
Sorry, I'm not the cool mom.
Okay, I've already been interrupted once because we just got back from camping and we had set our tent up in the yard to just let it air out, and then we were gonna put it away. Somebody turned on the garden hose to water the garden with a sprinkler and soaked our tent in the process. Yeah, you can get to know me a little bit. Always good intentions, and sometimes a little absent-minded. Carrying on. This pan is great. I don't use it a lot, I'll be honest, but my husband does. Toaster, hanging on to this. This is the top of our broiler pan. The bottom part I actually just keep in the oven, like it's kind of a drip pan, sort of. So all my cutting boards, I have cutting boards. Those are all staying. This is our little kiddo cutting board for the kids to use. Cooling racks. I use those all the time. This is our pizza pan, staying. See, I'm starting easy. This cupboard is the easiest probably of all of the cupboards. It's very pared down in terms of what we have. Cookie sheets, 2 cookie sheets, medium-sized cutting board, large wooden cutting board, and this is my big black cutting board. I use this a lot, as you can tell. You can see up here I have some pans. I have a cake pan. I rarely use my springform pan. I do use it, but I rarely use it. And this, honestly, I am tempted to declutter. And this is my tortilla warmer. My auntie made this. We use it every time we have tacos, so yes, we are keeping that. My box graters up here, yes, I use that all the time. Okay, now I am down to these. You're like, ew, gross, those aren't clean. They don't come clean super well, which is honestly something that bugs me. I originally got these because I love the idea of having non-stick muffin tins, but I found that I actually like using the baking papers better. So using, I'll get to that in a minute, using a muffin pan like this, and then just using the baking liners in there. So I think what I'm going to do at this point, since I have these and I have these, that's kind of double duty, I am just going to keep this one and use baking liners, and I'm going to declutter these. Okay, my husband overheard me when when I was decluttering this cupboard. This is the danger of decluttering when your spouse is home. I'm kidding. If you live with someone else, this is part of the challenge of decluttering, is working together on things. And obviously you're gonna have a different perspective. The springform pan, this is one of those things where we do have the room to keep it in the cupboard. The reckless decluttering part of me is like, just get rid of it. It's this give and take, right? And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep the springform pan. So there you go. This is beverage stuff and various random things, food storage containers, and some random little things. This is the contents of that cupboard. Is all of this stuff here. These we do not need to keep. These Tupperware we use on a fairly regular basis. This I rarely use. And hillocks, these are great for picking berries, and it is berry picking season right now. However, I do not need 5. These containers I love. They have plastic lids. I use them for I just use them daily. So I'm gonna keep these. These are, here's the Boo Boo Bunny. Tumblers, yes. That's my husband's, this is mine. Coffee grinder, absolutely staying around. These I use all the time, so those are staying. I've tried to switch over mostly to glass storage containers. Again, I have more in the dishwasher that are not shown here. These are great. These go on little stainless steel cups that we have. However, my kids are getting to a point where they don't really, they don't use sippy cups at all. A couple that I might keep around just in case for other kids. This is the last box here of stuff. You know those cutesy things that they tell you to buy because they promise you that it's gonna like make your kids eat vegetables?
Yummy, yummy.
That's what this box is, and some of this stuff legitimately is great. And then some of them, honestly, they've just sat up here and I haven't gotten rid of them because I bought them and I spent good money on them, and that felt wasteful. But every time I look at them, I feel like, I'm failing, like I'm not really using them, and the times that I have tried to use them, it hasn't really, like the kids haven't really cared that much. I feel like the vast majority of these things, it is just fine to get rid of them. I feel like this is one of those things like with the donut pan where I've held on to it because I'm like, good moms cut their kids' food into shapes, and good moms make a lunch plate that looks like a scene from a zoo or something. And the truth is that, well, that is fantastic, and I certainly look up to any mom that is able to do that on a regular basis. I just can't. I will keep a few things that I feel like I can use every so often to make things fun for the kids, but I don't want to keep looking at it and reminding myself that I'm not making fun lunches, and why can't I be more of a fun lunch kind of mom? Okay, I am getting rid of all of these. This feels really good, honestly. And I'm keeping these. So these silicone baking cups, my kids love these for, you know, putting little snicky snacks in. I decided to keep 3 little shapes for those days that I'm feeling particularly crafty. And then these little tongs. It is the next morning and I am back at it. Okay, so here is what we have. Is 3 shelves. Here are spices down here. Here is everything that was up in that cupboard. We have this magnetic calendar, like Melisande calendar for kids. This does not go here. This needs to be relocated. Extra container of spices. Do you have this in your cupboard where you just have these bags of like spices that either didn't fit in the jars you have, or it's a one-off spice that you bought for a recipe? You know what I'm talking about? And then they sit up there for like years, and now these are labeled, fortunately, but if they're not, like, good luck. Who knows what they are?
It's, you know, like a surprise.
poultry seasoning. It's one of those seasonings, like I feel like if you're a good homemaker, you're supposed to have poultry seasoning on hand, but I've never used it. I don't need to keep it. My paprika jar that was sitting empty in these turntables for the longest time, or these Lazy Susans, just needed to get filled up. I had this beautiful paprika that was sitting up on the top shelf and had used some of it, but then forgot it was up there. So this to me is another example too. I bought this and I bought extra. I bought much more than what I needed of this ground mustard. But the problem is I'm finding when I buy too much of something and then I store it, I forget that I have it. And this has sat there for literally years. So then essentially it's just sitting there. It's using up real estate in your home, and your money gets wasted because by the time you eventually pull it down, like it's not any good anymore, or you just completely forget that you have it. And so this whole idea of like buying to store up, I think it totally makes sense with some things, and there's some things I definitely do that for. But with things like spices, I'm like, the original intent was good, but then it ends up just being a waste. This is something I wanted to mention too, because for the longest time I have had this goal that I would have a spice cupboard that would just be so perfect, where all the spice jars match and everything would have the little label on it, and it would just look super cute. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but for me, that is just something that I got stuck on for a long time. And I feel like I have finally, in this season of my life, been able to let that go. It does not matter as long as I have what I need and I can see visually what I need. It doesn't matter what the spice jars look like. All right, I am moving on to this cupboard. This is our glasses, mugs, drinkware, basically. 4 wine glasses here. We're gonna hang on to those. These glasses, which are super cool. They have like a mountain in the bottom there. These are ramekins, I think. I never use them. And then the rest of the space up there was taken by jars. I have done a little bit of canning and I am planning to do more. And so I have no intention of getting rid of these jars. And then also these jars that are kind of here in the kitchen, I use them for storing different things in the fridge. So I do use them, but this is not all of them. I have more in, in another spot. This is where I have more. Okay, this is embarrassing. I have more over here. I have 2 in there. I have 1, 2, 3 in there. Okay, so that top row, I decided to do wine glasses, and then these glasses here, and then I just decided to keep 6 of the big canning jars handy and 2 of the small ones. And then this is the mug row, and I've already decluttered our mugs before, so I don't, this is the right amount for us. Okay, so I know I said that I had already decluttered the coffee mugs, and that was true, but actually in looking at how many mugs we have 14 mugs. Now, here's the reality. When I really break this down in my mind, yes, we have Bible study at our house, but with Bible study, we use maybe 8 mugs tops. And if I am getting much more than that in terms of company, I'm switching over to disposable hot cups. The fact is we really don't need 14 mugs. There are mugs that are very sentimental. My husband has mugs that are sentimental to him. This is one that is very sentimental to me. My mom got this for me when I had our first child, but I'm gonna try really hard to pare this down and see if I can get it down to a more reasonable number. Okay, I got it down to 10 mugs. Okay, moving on down to this cupboard down here. Bowls, mixing bowls, colander, strainer, that kind of thing. My 9x13 pans, my smaller pans, like our waffle maker, which we use on the regular. Set of 3 mixing bowls that I use all the time. My glass mixing bowls back there. I have 2 colanders. I'm not sure why I felt like I really needed 2, but I don't. So I'm just gonna keep the larger one and declutter the small one. This is the last cupboard. I've got dishes over here, and I've got up here, I'll show you more, but I've got paper products or disposable stuff. But this right here.
My old nemesis.
This 1, 2, and then there's a third one up there. Ugh, medicines, okay? Medicines and vitamins and supplements. Look at this. It's taking up half of a full-size cupboard. 1, 2, if that were down there, it would be taking up that shelf. Half of a full-size cupboard of this stuff, and it just drives me crazy. And like with the spices, you have stuff stored in here that it's like, I have no idea what's up there, or you pull something out, you're like, oh, we bought 2 more of these because we had no idea that we already had 2.
It's complete when we finally see. Here with the sun on our backs, it's all we need.
Okay. Wow. Oh, and I also found this whole bag of forks. That is an easy declutter.
Together with hearts in.
Okay, this is paper products. How do you declutter paper products? Do you declutter paper products? The most frustrating for me with paper products is pieces of sets. Do you know what I'm saying? Where you buy a special set of like for the holidays or whatever, and then you only use part of it, but there's like 3 napkins left, but you're not just going to throw away 3 perfectly good napkins, so you throw them in with the paper products, and then before you know it, you have a get-together coming up and you just have 2 happy birthday plates and 3 Merry Christmas plates and, you know, 5 4th of July napkins. And I'm getting rid of these, and I'll tell you why. The problem with these is they just break. They're from the Dollar Tree, and they act like it. These plates I'm keeping. These are great. They work great, and there's plenty of them. And then I have up here, it's always great to have water glasses on hand. This is the junk drawer, and I just hate how this drawer functions. And this little thing that was originally supposed to organize stuff, ha ha ha. Yeah, right. And then the child lock, like it gets caught on this. It won't go down all the way. And then I have to scoot this over. And then, I mean, you know, I ran into this in the junk drawer. This is a little magnet. I lived in England for a year. And I have, apparently still have them, a set of magnets from there. And this is sentimental. Has some sentimental attachment for me. There's a big part of me that is really tempted to hold on to this because it has sentimental attachment for me. Trafalgar Square, I've been to Trafalgar Square several times, have very, very happy memories there. But I have photos from when I was in Trafalgar Square with dear friends making those happy memories, and I don't need this magnet stuck away in a drawer getting dusty to remind me of the happy times that I had when I was in London at Trafalgar Square. Hate organizing stuff like this. All these little bitty things, you know, like I thought, oh, I don't have too many twisty ties. You know, you say, well, maybe you don't, but I do. Like save them from like the bread loaf. Looky here, as if I didn't save enough from the bread loaf, I have all of these twisty ties. Because in case you need one, or 85, you know, I got you covered. I'm almost done with the kitchen. I have a few more drawers, and then, well, technically done with the cupboards and drawers. Then I have the pantry. Okay, this drawer is random. This is one of those baby fruit sucker things. This is something that I've held on to since before marriage. It's Pampered Chef, and it's one of those crinkle cutter things. I don't think I've used this one time. Pastry cutter, hard-boiled egg, slicer, funnels. Yes, I use these all the time. Pile of rusty used canning jar lids. So these can go bye-bye. I really wanted to be the kind of person that did like smoothies in a mason jar, and I'm not that person. And I look at them every day and I'm like, oh yeah, still not doing those smoothies, are you, Bets? You do hit a point where you kind of know who you are. And I feel like there's a lot of time through your teens and your 20s that you're like, well, I might be this person or I might be that person. For me, at this stage of life, I just feel like I have a clearer and clearer sense of the type of person that I am, the things that I enjoy, the way that I'm wired. And so there is something about decluttering in this era of life that is incredibly, incredibly freeing. Debated before the idea of getting one of those organizers that is like it's like made of bamboo or something, and you can organize all of your saran wrap and your plastic bags like in that kind of thing. And I have opted to not do that because I feel like it's one of those things where you're forced to, every time you buy plastic bags, you have to decamp them. You have to pull them out of the package that they're in, and you have to put them in the wooden holder thing. So that's one thing, it's an extra step. The second reason is because it's like, what if you put them in and then you have extras that don't fit in there? And then this is what bugs me. What do you do with the box that has like 10 plastic bags left in it? Where do you store that? Now you've got your organizer that's supposed to keep everything more concise and streamlined, but then you've also got your backups that are waiting to fill. Do you know what I'm saying? All that to say, I have decided against getting one of those wooden organizer things. I may change my mind at some point, but I know myself well, and I feel like it is something that in the long run would just frustrate me. These are awesome. These are those beeswax wraps, that you use to, what am I trying to say? Like cover food instead of using saran wrap. I just have here what I use, but there's more in the drawer. There is these. Out of all of these, there's one tip that I use. Okay, so now we have come to the pantry. I am so thankful and blessed to have this pantry space inside of our kitchen. Okay, I just had millet spill everywhere. Just in case you're wondering, spilling millet in the kitchen is like 1,000 marbles shooting off in 1,000 different directions. Okay, cover your eyes if you don't want to be grossed out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was a piece of bread that is now green. This is why it's so important to go through and declutter your pantry regularly, right? As the stuff ends up on the bottom of the pile and then...
That's disgusting.
So it's the next morning. I've made good progress on the pantry. It's coming along. I have to say, this is just a side note, there is just such joy. Like sometimes decluttering is hard, but there is such joy in like tending to your things. I don't know, that sounds really old-fashioned and probably kind of weird, but like where you just feel like you're taking care of things. When for months and maybe years you've just been like throwing stuff in a drawer or like smushing it in a closet or stuffing it on shelves, and you're pulling things out, you're parting with what you don't need, you're refilling things, you're cleaning things up. There's just this sense of satisfaction in like caring for your things that I feel like I don't have when I'm busy just like accumulating things. This is just, it has a really satisfying aspect that I'm really enjoying.
You have me, I have you. That's enough to paint lonesome black and blue. Yeah, I have you, and you have me. That puts a bow up in the sky that tells the rain to cease. We've had up, and we've had down. We've had warm nights, we've gone round and round. What I know, this much is true.
Okay, as promised, a couple things I learned while simplifying our kitchen. Number one, decluttering truly is like an onion. You peel back the layers and you kind of just keep peeling and keep peeling and keep peeling. I have continued to simplify and declutter our kitchen even after finishing filming this video. And so I would really encourage you that decluttering is not just a one and done thing. It definitely hasn't been for me. And it's exciting because once you're in that mindset, you just want to keep going. The second thing, stocking up is not always the right move. With certain situations and certain scenarios, it makes sense. But I found with our kitchen that oftentimes when you stock up, if you don't have a good rotation system, if you don't have a good management system, things end up either going bad or money gets wasted because you forget you have things. And so in certain scenarios, stocking up definitely makes sense. But for many things in the kitchen that I thought stocking up was going to make so much sense and it was going to be so valuable and save me money and be so efficient, it just wasn't. You can download my free guide on 5 simple steps for how to declutter any space in your home in the description box below. And I've also linked the playlist for this series, Simplifying Our Home, in the description box below as well. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.